All right. We are back with a Hidden Threads podcast, and Victoria almost made a funny noise. She didn't think we were recording yet.
You're breathing in the mic, and it reminded me of when I was little for Halloween. I wore a Darth Vader mask, and I burped in it. And it smelled so bad.
Remember in COVID when we all had to wear a mask? Everybody got a dose of how bad your breath was. So you got a dose of your own breath, I should say. But remember that?
Yeah, that was nasty.
What did you eat that night? But when you burped in it,
I don't know, but it was bad.
But you were Darth Vader.
I still remember trying to get the helmet off, and I'm like, ugh.
That's funny. So what do we got today?
I think we should dive a little bit into our adultery investigations and child custody.
Adultery and custody. So that seems to be one that people are asking a lot of questions about online.
Yes.
And we can start out with basically, what does it matter?
Yeah.
We'll start with adultery. Why does it matter if you get evidence, right? I get a lot of comments where people say it doesn't matter. It's a 50-50 state, blah, 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 all these things. They don't really understand the law. And I'm going to refer a lot of this to lawyers, let them answer the questions, but it does matter, or lawyers would not come to me and say, hey, go get evidence for these people.
Right.
And you can still file on grounds of adultery in Alabama and a lot of other states. And the 50-50 split thing is, if there's everything being equal, you just want a divorce, you're going to split everything down the middle. Everything not being equal is where we come into play. Mm-hmm. Where, say, you're a house mom, you've raised kids for 20 years, and your husband tries to have a ongoing relationship with another person. They're spending all your money on this other person and not spending time with the kids, or not helping you raise the kids.
Yeah.
That puts leverage in your side.
Yes.
Don't you agree?
Yes, it does.
I hope some lawyers chime in and tell me where I'm wrong. But if it was not the case, then lawyers would not be asking for this evidence of affairs. And that's where we come in. We go out and get evidence of these affairs. People hanging out, going into hotels together, spending a lot of time together, and not with their family, not with their wives, not with their kids, not paying attention to their children, spending tons of money on these other people.
Yeah.
We've gotten a lot of receipts where that happens, where they bought massive engagement rings where they're still married, those things. A lot of hotel bills. We had one where a guy was renting an apartment for his girlfriend. Downtown. Yeah. Expensive.
Yeah.
Very expensive place.
And a lot of it's digital, not even just having to follow people around and watch it, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, digital is a big part. Open source is a big part of this. That's where we can get your email addresses and usernames. It's public access if you've logged into a website. I'm sorry, but it is. And you just have to know where to find it.
Yeah.
And we run those through some tools and see what data gaps you're part of. We'll even get on there and fake like we're going to date you.
Yeah.
We don't ever meet up with you, but we're going to have a conversation where you describe, and also people's profiles. It says that they are single when they're not. And also, I had a client tell me one time, I showed him his wife's dating profile. It says she's exciting. He said, she's not exciting. I thought that was funny. But I thought that was cool. But he said, yeah.
Oh, my God.
It was great. And it just shows that they're out there on the market.
Yeah.
There's some dangers in that too. So say you've got a house full of kids, so say 3 children under 10 years old, and you've got a person who's willing to sleep with your husband or wife, whatever, and they know you're married, and they have that I call it a mental derangement, saying, hey, I'm going to break this family up. Mm-hmm. What else are they willing to do?
Seriously.
Yeah. And you watch Dateline NBC lately with the murders and stuff. Those are real stories, by the way.
Yeah.
It all starts with an affair, and it turns bad. We don't often see that. Normally the family just breaks up and they go on their way, but it can turn bad as well. It can get in
I read a stat in this book. I don't know I'm not saying the correct numbers, but it's like step parents do like 90%. When it's a child getting killed, it's a step parent, like 90% of the time.
I wonder why.
The actual biological parent.
I wonder why. We get some criminologists on here. I've studied criminology, but I'm not a criminologist.
Yeah.
But does that make sense? Mm-hmm. I wonder why that is. Yeah, I see that, where step parents are more likely to injure or kill a child.
I guess since it's not your blood, maybe there's something psychological there where you're more willing to. I have no idea.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Yep. But on the open source side, we have digital tools where we can find where they're involved in these things, and we report it to our clients and their lawyers and show it. We also do physical surveillance on these folks, where we go out and catch them. and you hacked.
Yeah.
This leads up to vehicle trackers. We haven't done a lot on vehicle trackers on the podcast, I don't think, have we?
No, but that seems to be what a lot of people are interested in and have questions about, how that we actually do place trackers on vehicles and stuff like that.
We do, but there's some rules,
Yes.
right? You can't hire us to put a tracker on just any old vehicle. You can't unless you have ownership of that vehicle. Now, if you are married in Alabama, I think Tennessee and Georgia the same way, and you purchase a vehicle while you're married, all right, you both have equal ownership of that property, no matter whose name's on the title. All right. There's some lawyers that get a little skittish about it, but most of the good ones say, no, you have equal ownership because it's in the law. And you can hire us to put a tracker on there. All right. If you do not have equal ownership, meaning say you're a wife and your husband owns a business and that car is under a business name, all right, you don't have equal ownership.
Right.
Sometimes they do. Sometimes they're 50% or more ownership of that company, and we can track it all day. But you have to have ownership. Now, there's some question too where the vehicle was purchased before the marriage and your name's not on the title. We probably will not do it. We don't want to get up in that gray area and let people fight about it all day in court. So,
right.
And also it can get us in trouble for digital stalking unless we're justified in putting it on. We have to get permission from our client to do it. It's in our contract.
Yeah.
And we do it. We get asked a lot, people to put a tracker on their boyfriend or girlfriend's car.
That's a no-go.
You get that on the phone sometimes, right?
Yeah, a lot of people call in with the boyfriend, girlfriend stuff. And to me, it's genuinely not worth it. If it's a girlfriend or a boyfriend, there needs to be actual like money.
Some reasons to do. We get a lot of people call that are boyfriend and girlfriend, or they're just not, maybe they're doing well, they're just not wealthy. They're fighting over the bass boat and a trailer.
Yeah.
And a Dodge Ram.
Yeah.
We're like, we're not the people for you. Just go get divorced and sell your stuff.
Yeah.
All right. People that call us typically are fighting over massive amounts of cash, real estate, businesses, those kind of things. And there's sometimes a custody issue involved as well.
There's a lot on the table.
Yeah. If a parent is out cheating on their spouse and not spending time with the children or lying and all this stuff, they're probably not going to be a good co-parent either.
Right.
And judges look at that when we gather evidence. So it's always a custody issue too if there's children there.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, evidence does matter in these adultery cases. Any examples, Victoria?
Oh, there's so many examples. I kind of just go into digital more, providing some of those digital examples with the kind of Tinder and what we see, where we see some of these people on.
So yeah, we've got one ongoing now. I'm going to change the digital platform just a little bit. Okay. So we're not pointing out, I'm not even going to say it. Okay. We've got evidence of a man. He's married, our client, a woman, and he is putting himself out there as a male prostitute for other men. All right, on different platforms. And we got evidence of that. And we got the screenshot, we got the receipts.
Yeah.
And she's confronted him about it. He says, well, you're crazy, lady, and all this. But not only is that gross, you can no telling what you can bring home, right?
Yeah.
It's deceptive. I mean, you signed a contract saying you're going to be married to this lady, and now all of a sudden you're a homosexual and you're a prostitute.
And then making her feel crazy.
Yeah, making her out she's crazy. And then we got evidence of it. So she has the upper hand now. So that's one form of evidence. And she's the breadwinner. She has a bunch of rental properties, and he's trying to say, well, I'm going to get half of those. And now she's like, no.
Yeah,
so
that's a no-go.
I know we're lawyers, so they're going to fight and get the best decision for her they can. And we get a lot where the one spouse gets into the phone or cloud of our client's phone and manipulates what's been saved in there, adds stuff, and makes them look like they're crazy.
Yeah.
And we can get in there and show that, hey, somebody else has manipulated us besides our client. And that makes our client feel better, number one. And number two, it shows that, hey, what are they hiding on the other side? So we'd start chasing down other things, maybe follow them around and see why they're doing this.
And you can kind of get onto some dark web stuff too.
Yeah. Dark web's a little more choppy.
Yeah.
I would call it. I just stopped that there for a second. Dark web's a little more harder to get into, harder to see what's going on because of the VPN and onion browsers and those things. But we can find it. We have before. I'd say the percentage is lower.
Yeah.
It's very manual in your approach to how you're searching for it, but we can. Dark web is where you can buy and sell illegal stuff anonymously. That's say anonymously.
Anonymously.
Yes. I'm struggling with it today.
You nailed it that last time.
But that's dark web is an interesting topic, and people can steal your persona and put it on the dark web and use you as a buyer.
So scary.
Your persona.
Yeah.
We've had that happen before, and something to look out for. But yeah, we do get into the dark web. We get into open web. Some people call it the clean web, where we're just straight up dating sites. Do you know Yahoo Personals are coming back?
No.
Yeah, it's more like a dating app now.
Oh, no. I use Yahoo for finance, but I did not know that.
Competing with, your Tinder, Plenty of Fish, and those things. So,
wow, okay.
But yeah, it's evidence does matter. And what you're doing is getting that leverage in your favor. And if you just want to do a straight up divorce, we probably won't be the person for you. But if you're looking to get some leverage and keep some things that you feel you deserve, then yeah, you need evidence to show that you've been the one holding this marriage together or holding the family together while this person's been out doing whatever they do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Anything else on adultery, Victoria?
Speaking of assets, we also do asset tracking.
Assets. Yes. Thanks for reminding me. That's why Victoria's here. She reminds me.
Every once in a while.
Right. So people will call us a lot and say, hey, I need you to hack their bank account to see how much money they got. They have separate bank accounts. I'm like, we can't hack anything, especially banks. But we can look at their public record to see what purchases have been made without their knowledge and look at those assets. And so people split up. They're not divorced yet. But even though they're not divorced, if you purchase something big, you still own half of it. And we've had people buy houses without their spouse knowing after they're split up and not divorced, but just living separate.
Yeah.
And try to hide it. And we found those off the real estate record. Anybody can find it. It's just we have the tool to make it more instant than you going out and digging in different county websites or having to go there physically to do it. So we have those ways to find it. But so we're going to take a break and come back with more of your child custody aspects of this digital investigation world. So we'll see you in a bit.
Interesting stuff.
Yep. Safe online dating. It's a big deal. So maybe you met the person of your dreams on Tinder or one of the other platforms, and you're getting ready to meet up with them in person. Or maybe you've been in a long-distance online relationship with them. You just want to know who they are. Well, we have a tool called TLOXP. It's only available to federal agents, police forces, and private investigators. Hey, that's me. And we can tell you about their bankruptcies, judgments, evictions, divorces, arrest record, important things you need to know before spending any more time with this person. All right, get to know who they are and confront them with it, or just break up with them, whatever your choice is. But you have to call us or fill out the information on the link below. You're going to hear from a real private investigator that's going to go over this data with you, go over the pricing options with you, and get the information you need to be safe online. Don't wait any longer. Click the link or give us a call to get started. The number is 866-910-7499. Again, 866-910-7499, or click the link. Hope to talk to you soon. Bam. Hey, we're back here for part 2.
Hey.
There's Victoria. Wave again, Victoria. There it is again. All right. I didn't have the camera on you. So if you see me hitting buttons, that's me. You have to manually do the camera.
Yeah.
We're not advanced enough to have automatic camera splits.
We don't have a full studio in here.
This is Macky's this is his office with some microphones.
It's just us.
We do have good cameras though. Hi. We're still on this why evidence matters in adultery and custody. The second part, we're going to get into custody a little bit. What question do you have about custody, Victoria?
I think that it just gets really confusing for a lot of people.
What part do you think is the most confusing?
It seems to me when people call, it's like they're most concerned, do they need a lawyer first before we gather evidence on situations like this? Seems to be the most prevailing question.
Yeah, what they're asking there is, how much is all this going to cost me?
Yeah.
Because they got to pay us, and then they got to pay a lawyer. But usually on child custody, though, they'll pay for both. If you get kids involved that are living in a chaotic situation, that's where evidence in custody comes in. Child custody. What I'm talking about is a straight up custody case where you're already split up, shared parenting agreement already, and one side is not acting right. Either they're not following the custody agreement, they're alcoholics, they're on drugs, and we've seen prostitution, we've seen cohabitation with pedophiles, we've seen the extreme, right?
Yeah.
And So yeah, if you want to get a custody modification, there has to be evidence of these kids being put in danger. And you do need a lawyer as well. Don't try to do this by yourself. But if you walk into a courtroom and say, I want a custody modification, and it's all based off the kid said, the neighbor said, he said, she said, what do you think the lawyer is going to do?
I mean, it's probably not going to be.
It's going to be tossed out.
Yeah. Nothing.
They don't do anything on hearsay. You have to have real evidence with the photos. What do I call the receipts? You got to be able to show them, hey, this is happening. All right. An example would be, hey, my kids were at their house Friday night. They had custody. But here's some videos of her and her husband, who's supposed to be supervising the kids, out at midnight, drunk as skunks in a bar. We've done that plenty of times. All right. That's evidence of children being put in danger.
Yeah.
Abandonment. So we're not talking about abandonment where you take the kids out in the woods and drop them off.
Right.
No matter how bad you want to, Victoria, sometimes.
Right.
I'm talking about abandonment where it's your week of custody and you take the kids to your mama's house, the grandparents. You're not around. You never see them.
Right.
That's what we're talking about.
That's still abandonment. Yeah.
So it's great the grandparents are getting to spend time with the kids. But if you want your custody, you need to be around these kids and provide for them.
When it's your week, you should be there.
If it's your week, you should be there, right? Unless there's some, big circumstance like you work overseas or something. I've seen that, but but they're not doing that. They're dropping the kids off with grandma, and then they're going partying. They got some weirdos spending the night with them at their house. All kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah,
and that's where we come in. We show not only are they drunk, but they don't spend time with the kids. See that kind of evidence there? Does that make sense?
It does.
Let's talk about the digital side of it. Now, we had a few cases where the mother, it was all women. Men are just as bad. Don't get me wrong. But in these cases, the women, during their custody, when they had their time with the kids, they were recording pornographic videos for OnlyFans. Okay. I'm not here to discredit how somebody makes their money.
Right.
I'm not a fan of pornography, but if you're going to make money and you're going to record yourself having sex with different guys at your house, that's where your little studio is in your bedroom. Yeah. It's probably not good. Yeah. These guys coming in, and you're doing this at night while the kids are asleep or they're there. I don't know what they're doing. Right. But it's happening based off the timestamp on these videos, which we can get. It's happening while you have the kids and you're supposed to be watching the kids and they're supposed to be safe. What do you think of that?
Not a good environment for a child.
Not illegal, but it does not look good in the civil world.
No, right? It does not.
So that's some things we do there on the custody side. All right. That's another digital aspect of it. We have fake OnlyFans accounts and we go in and find these users and see what they're up to. Yeah. And sometimes you can't unsee stuff on there, Victoria.
Yeah.
There's some weird stuff.
There's some pretty foul things to be seen.
Some weird stuff. Yeah. What other items do clients to ask us about when it comes to the custody?
And like I've said previously, they seem to, when they have the child custody going on, to know what rules the other person is breaking already. And we're just out there to go get them on camera doing it.
Right. A lot of times there is either a verbal or a legal custody agreement in place.
Yes.
All right. And it says, hey, the big one is you can't have anybody spend the night overnight. Now, if you get married, that changes. Usually you can have them over. Yeah. But you can't have your boyfriend or random girlfriends over at night. And we'll go over and show it time and again that they got these people, unvetted, unbackground checked people spending the night with kids there.
Cohabitation.
Cohabitation's a problem, right?
Yeah.
And that's where evidence comes in again. You can't go into the judge and say, I heard that such and such is spending the night. The judge can be like, where's the proof?
Right.
And then they call us and that's where we go. We take off. But the problem is after that, the other side was there at the courtroom too. And they're like, well, they're going to try to watch me now. So they start playing nice. So I know it costs money, but don't go in there with hearsay in a courtroom. Come to us first, get the evidence. Your lawyer will tell you that too, a good lawyer.
Yeah.
Some lawyers are lazy and don't want to do that stuff. They don't want to have to submit evidence. They don't know how to submit evidence. I've had other lawyers say they don't submit evidence because they don't know how or they're lazy. That's lawyers talking about lawyers.
Yeah.
All right. That's not me. And And if that's the case, you might want to look at changing your lawyer, or just don't hire them if you haven't paid them yet. If you've consulted with them already.
There's a lawyer on TikTok who talks about this one case where, the other opposing attorney did not know how to submit evidence into the courtroom and lost a case based on not being able to submit evidence.
Which lawyer's that?
I forget his name. I could pull it up.
We need to find him and do a collab.
He's so cool, but that was a really sad one.
Yeah. I think they know how. They just don't want to. It takes time. So.
I think genuinely some of them are very unexperienced and have never been in a courtroom before and actually probably don't know how to say the right words to get it submitted.
Right. Yeah. I've been in court. I've been in testimony where we're waiting to testify. And you can watch and see the ones that are experienced and not experienced. I mean, you got to get their experience somewhere.
Yeah, true.
And
you probably don't want to get. You want the best when you're going for child custody. You want someone who knows what they're doing.
I probably wouldn't hire the one that's just now getting out of law school, but let them get some time under the belt, learn under an experienced lawyer, and go from there.
Yes.
Now let's talk about vehicle trackers with custody. We get asked often, "Hey, my ex-wife has the kids this week. Will you go put a tracker on her car?" What's the answer, Victoria?
Ex-wife, you've been divorced. We cannot do that.
You can't do it. You don't have any ownership whatsoever.
Right.
So we have to say no. Yeah. What about grabbing garbage at their house?
Now we can grab garbage as long as it's set on the street.
As long as it's set on the street. Look at Victoria. She's being like...
I'm like double checking myself before I speak out loud.
Master investigator. We can grab the garbage. We do that a lot in custody cases.
Yes.
We can do surveillance on the home to see who's coming and going. We had one where when the opposing side had the children, it was an all-day circus at the house. Cars coming and going, random people. We'd run the backgrounds on them. They had felony backgrounds. And I don't know what's happened with this one yet, but it was just like chaotic there at the house.
Jeez.
And kid playing in the yard, these random people come up, pick them up and talk to them and stuff. I don't know. It was just weird.
Yeah.
Mom was nowhere to be found. She was in the house watching whatever, doing whatever. And this kid's out in the yard with these random people pulling up, going in. We think there's some drug dealing going on, but you can't, we don't see the drug exchange going on inside. It's just, we think. Right. But it does not look good from the outside looking in with all these people coming and going.
Felons pulling up and grabbing the kid.
You got a child. Would you like that?
No. I'm not saying felons are all bad people, but that just doesn't look good.
It doesn't. The chaotic home life, those kind of things. And there were some more things that went on there too, including she would just drop the kid off for a week at her mother's house when she had him and never see the kid until drop-off time. So
grandma's taking care of.
Unfortunately, we have that. I'm glad they're stepping up, but
it's sad that it comes down to that.
It's not preferred. But anyway, any other questions or comments about child custody, adultery, and how evidence matters?
I think you've done a very good job of explaining why evidence matters.
Really?
In these cases.
Okay. Hopefully we'll do a bunch more on these because people want to know.
The judge needs something physical to look at and say if they're telling the truth or not.
Right.
You can't just go in there and say they're doing this, that, and the other.
Right.
Okay, but where's the evidence?
Yeah. You can't. They won't go based off hearsay. Yeah. Hearsay is not admissible. Not supposed to be. Sometimes it gets hearsay means I heard somebody say it. So and sometimes some judges do let it in, which is unfortunate. But so that's it for this one, Victoria, and we'll be back after Christmas break with some more.
Happy holidays, you fools!
Fools. Victoria's getting crazy over here, y'all. But yeah, Christmas is just around the corner.
Just a little excited.
So we'll have some family time.
Yes.
And we'll be back with some more podcasts and some more information for you. So we'll see you later.
Peace and blessings.